Intelligence, consciousness, self-awareness, technology, civilization. For millions of years, evolution shaped life into increasingly complex forms until one species developed the capacity to understand the universe itself, humanity. We are the pinnacle of evolution, the universe becoming conscious of itself. Our existence is miraculous, meaningful, purposeful, except it is not. Intelligence was not an inevitable outcome. It was not a goal. It was an evolutionary accident. And the physics and biology reveal that intelligence might be the worst mistake evolution ever made. Prepare to understand why we should never have existed. Humans are proud of intelligence. We build cities, create art, develop science, send spacecraft to other planets. We split atoms, sequence genomes, peer into the structure of space-time itself. Intelligence has given us dominion over Earth. We have reshaped the planet. We have conquered every environment. We have eliminated natural predators. Intelligence seems like an unambiguous evolutionary success. But look closer. Intelligence emerged once on Earth, once in 4 billion years of life, once among countless trillions of organisms. Bacteria have existed for 3.5 billion years and never evolved intelligence. Plants have existed for hundreds of millions of years without intelligence. Animals for 600 million years, most without intelligence. Intelligence appeared in one lineage in the last few million years, one time, one species, among billions of species that ever existed. This is not the pattern of an inevitable outcome. This is the pattern of a rare accident, an evolutionary fluke that happened once and might never happen again anywhere in the universe. And when you examine the costs and consequences of intelligence, a disturbing picture emerges. Intelligence might be the most maladaptive trait ever to evolve, a mistake that leads inevitably to extinction. Let me show you why intelligence was a mistake and why we are evidence of evolution's greatest failure. First, intelligence is metabolically expensive. The human brain is about 2% of body mass, but consumes about 20% of metabolic energy. That is 10 times more energy than it should need based on mass alone. Maintaining and operating a large brain requires enormous caloric input. This is energy that could be used for growth, reproduction, immune function, or physical strength. Instead, it is burned to power neurons. For most of Earth's history, energy was scarce. Getting enough calories to survive was the limiting factor for most organisms. In this environment, a brain consuming vast energy is a severe disadvantage. You need to find more food than competitors just to maintain basic function. You are outcompeted by organisms with smaller, cheaper brains that devote more energy to reproduction and survival. Intelligence only becomes viable when food is abundant or when intelligence provides abilities that more than compensate for the energy cost. For humans, this happened through cooking, tool use, and social cooperation. But these are preconditions intelligence itself had to create. It is a chicken-egg problem. Intelligence needs surplus energy, but generating surplus energy requires intelligence. The vast majority of ecological niches do not provide this opportunity. Most environments favor efficiency over complexity. A bacterium can reproduce in 20 minutes with minimal resources. A whale with a massive but simple brain can filter feed and thrive for decades. Neither needs intelligence. Intelligence is only viable in very specific circumstances, and even then, barely. Second, intelligence creates psychological suffering, conscious awareness of mortality, anticipation of future pain, memory of past trauma, existential dread. No other species experiences these. A deer does not lie awake worrying about death. A bird does not feel existential despair about the meaninglessness of existence. They live in the moment. They suffer when harmed, but do not suffer from the knowledge that suffering exists. Intelligence creates meta-awareness. You not only experience pain, you know you are experiencing it, know it might continue, anticipate future pain, remember past pain. You suffer not just from events, but from thoughts about events. Anxiety, depression, trauma disorders, all are products of intelligence. The capacity for abstract thought creates the capacity for abstract suffering. Evolution optimizes for reproduction, not happiness. Intelligence evolved because it provided reproductive advantages in specific environments, but it came with the side effect of making life psychologically harder. Every human who has ever lived has dealt with the burden of consciousness, the knowledge of mortality, the awareness of suffering, the existential weight of understanding you are a temporary pattern of matter that will cease to exist. Is this worth the advantages intelligence provides? From evolution's perspective, yes, if it increases reproductive success. From the individual's perspective, unclear. Many people report that their intelligence makes them miserable. The capacity to understand the world comes with the curse of understanding your own insignificance. Third, intelligence enables self-destruction. Humans are the first species capable of driving themselves extinct through their own actions. Nuclear weapons, climate change, bioweapons, artificial intelligence, nanotechnology. We have developed multiple technologies that could end human civilization or even extinguish all life on Earth. No other species has this capacity. A bacterium cannot destroy its own ecosystem. A predator cannot hunt its prey to extinction and then starve. Well, actually, predators can cause prey extinction, but they lack the foresight to prevent it and the technology to destroy everything. Humans have both the capacity and the short-sightedness to destroy themselves. Intelligence gave us technology. Technology gave us power over nature. Power without wisdom is dangerous. We can manipulate the environment on planetary scales without understanding the consequences. We release carbon dioxide without anticipating climate change. We develop nuclear weapons without fully considering the existential risk. We create AI without solving alignment. Intelligence makes us powerful but not wise. Every technological advance creates new risks. The more powerful our technology, the more catastrophic the potential failure modes. Bronze Age civilizations could not destroy the world. Industrial civilizations can. Post-industrial civilizations might do it accidentally. Intelligence accelerates our trajectory toward possibilities that include our own extinction. The Drake equation and the Fermi paradox suggest this might be common. If intelligence is common in the universe, where are the aliens? One answer, they destroyed themselves. Intelligence leads to technology. Technology leads to weapons. Weapons lead to extinction. This is the great filter. Perhaps most intelligent species do not survive long enough to colonize the galaxy. Intelligence contains the seeds of its own destruction. Fourth, intelligence disrupts ecological balance. Humans have driven thousands of species to extinction. We have altered 75% of Earth's land surface. We have changed atmospheric composition. We have acidified oceans. We have created a mass extinction event comparable to the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs. And we did it in just 10,000 years. No other species has this impact. Ecosystem destruction is a side effect of intelligence. We optimize for our own short-term benefit without considering long-term ecological consequences. We cut forests for agriculture. We overfish oceans. We pave over habitats. Intelligence makes us incredibly effective at exploiting resources, but it does not make us wise enough to manage resources sustainably. Evolution shaped us to maximize short-term survival and reproduction in small groups. We are not evolved to think about global-scale, long-term consequences. Our cognitive biases, products of evolution for life in small tribes, make us discount future risks and overvalue immediate gains. Intelligence gives us power, but not the wisdom to wield it responsibly. The result is ecological catastrophe. We are in the process of destabilizing the planetary systems that made our existence possible. Climate change, biodiversity loss, soil degradation, ocean acidification. These are all products of intelligent activity. No other species degrades its own environment so severely. Intelligence is maladaptive at the planetary scale. Fifth, intelligence does not increase reproductive success in modern environments. In developed countries, intelligence is negatively correlated with fertility. More educated people have fewer children. Wealthier, more technologically advanced societies have lower birth rates. The Flynn effect shows IQ increasing over generations, but this is environmental, not genetic. If anything, genetic selection might be against high intelligence in modern populations. This is not how successful evolutionary traits work. Traits that increase fitness should spread. If intelligence were genuinely adaptive, intelligent people should have more offspring, passing intelligence-linked genes to the next generation. But the opposite occurs. Intelligence allows you to access birth control, delay reproduction, invest in quality over quantity. These are rational individual decisions, but they mean intelligence is selected against. Evolution does not care about technology, art, or science. Evolution cares about genes in the next generation. If intelligence leads you to have fewer children, intelligence is evolutionarily maladaptive in that environment. Intelligence might be self-limiting. Species that evolve intelligence might reduce their reproduction rate, eventually being replaced by less intelligent but more fecund relatives. Sixth, intelligence creates value systems that conflict with evolutionary imperatives. Humans care about things beyond reproduction: ethics, justice, beauty, truth, meaning. These values can motivate behavior that reduces fitness. Altruism toward non-relatives, celibacy for religious or personal reasons, sacrificing reproductive opportunities for career or ideals. Evolution shaped us to have these values because they increased fitness in ancestral environments. But in modern environments, they can misfire. You care about the suffering of strangers on the other side of the world and donate money that could have gone to your children. You sacrifice reproduction to pursue art or science. You feel ethical obligations that reduce your evolutionary success. This is intelligence working against its own evolutionary foundation. The capacity for abstract reasoning and value systems allows you to act against your genetic interests. No other species does this. No chimpanzee forgoes reproduction to write poetry. No dolphin reduces its offspring to pursue social justice. Only humans create values that transcend and sometimes contradict biological imperatives. From evolution's perspective, this is a bug, not a feature. Intelligence was supposed to increase fitness. Instead, it creates motivations orthogonal or opposed to fitness. Intelligence has escaped the control of the evolutionary process that created it. Seventh, intelligence might be incompatible with long-term survival. The timescale for evolution is millions of years. The timescale for technological development is centuries or decades. Intelligence accelerates change faster than evolution can adapt. We create new environments, new selection pressures, new challenges faster than our biology can respond. Evolutionary adaptation is slow. It takes thousands of generations to develop significant adaptations. Humans have had agriculture for 10,000 years, about 400 generations. Industrial technology for 200 years, about 8 generations. Digital technology for 50 years, about 2 generations. We are biologically Stone Age humans living in a digital age. Our brains, emotions, and instincts are adapted for a world that no longer exists. This mismatch creates problems. Obesity from instincts to crave calorie-dense food in an environment of abundance. Addiction from hijacking reward systems evolved for natural stimuli. Anxiety from threat detection systems in environments with few physical threats, but constant information about distant dangers. Social isolation despite connectivity because our social instincts are for small groups, not global networks. Intelligence created this mismatch, and intelligence is not keeping up with the problems it creates. We develop technology faster than we develop wisdom to use it responsibly. artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, synthetic biology all pose existential risks that our Stone Age brains are ill-equipped to navigate. If intelligence cannot adapt fast enough to manage its own creations, it leads to catastrophe. The great filter might be that intelligent species innovate themselves into extinction before they achieve long-term stability. Intelligence is too dangerous for its own good. Eighth, intelligence is not necessary. Billions of species exist without it. They survive, reproduce, fill ecological niches. Bacteria are the most successful life form by virtually any measure: biomass, diversity, adaptability, longevity. Bacteria have existed longer than any other domain. They live in more environments. They have greater genetic diversity. And they did it all without neurons. Life thrives without intelligence. Most of Earth's biomass is plants, fungi, and microbes. Animals are a small fraction. Intelligent animals are a tiny fraction of animals. Technological intelligence is one species. You do not need intelligence to be evolutionarily successful. In fact, intelligence seems to be a niche strategy that works in very limited circumstances and might ultimately be self-defeating. The history of life is 4 billion years of mostly non-intelligent success. Intelligence is a recent, rare experiment that has not yet proven itself over evolutionary timescales. We have existed for a few million years. Most species last 1 to 10 million years before going extinct. We are nowhere near proven as an evolutionary strategy, and the risks intelligence creates suggest we might not last long. If we drive ourselves extinct in the next few thousand years through nuclear war, climate catastrophe, or AI misalignment, intelligence will have existed for a geological instant, a failed experiment, a dead end, an evolutionary mistake. Ninth, the universe does not care about intelligence. This is the most fundamental issue. Intelligence allows us to understand the universe, but the universe is not designed for us. It is indifferent to our existence. The laws of physics do not distinguish between intelligent and non-intelligent matter. Entropy increases regardless of consciousness. Stars burn, galaxies collide, black holes evaporate. None of it cares whether observers exist. Intelligence is cosmically insignificant. We are a local phenomenon on one planet around one star in one galaxy among hundreds of billions. If humanity vanished tomorrow, the universe would continue unchanged. No purpose would be thwarted. No cosmic plan would be disrupted. We matter to ourselves, but we do not matter to the cosmos. This creates an existential crisis. Intelligence gives us the capacity to understand our own insignificance. We are conscious of our mortality, aware that everything we build will eventually be erased by entropy. The universe is hostile to complexity. Heat death awaits. Intelligence allows us to comprehend this futility. Is there any purpose to intelligence in a meaningless universe? We create meaning for ourselves, but it is subjective, local, temporary. In the long run, everything we do is erased. Intelligence lets us see this. Other species are spared the knowledge of cosmic futility. Is it better to be aware or blissfully ignorant? Tenth, the anthropic principle suggests intelligence might be extraordinarily rare. If intelligence were common, we should see evidence of other civilizations. The Fermi paradox says we do not. Where is everybody? Maybe intelligence is so rare that we are alone in the observable universe. Maybe the conditions for intelligence are so improbable that it happens once per galaxy or less. Or maybe intelligence is common but short-lived. Civilizations arise, develop technology, and destroy themselves within a few thousand years. The window during which a civilization is detectable is brief. We have been technological for about 100 years. We might last another few hundred or thousand years before extinction or transformation into something unrecognizable. Other civilizations might have the same trajectory. Intelligence arises, briefly flourishes, and vanishes. The universe is full of the ruins of intelligent species that all made the same mistake. Either way, intelligence is either rare or short-lived. Neither suggests it is an evolutionary success. Successful traits spread and persist. If intelligence is rare, it is because the conditions for it are improbable. If intelligence is short-lived, it is because it leads to extinction. Both imply intelligence is a mistake. So intelligence was a mistake, not in the sense that it was morally wrong. Evolution has no morality. A mistake in the sense that it is a maladaptive trait that leads to reduced fitness and eventual extinction. Intelligence is metabolically expensive, creates suffering, enables self-destruction, disrupts ecosystems, reduces reproduction, and might be incompatible with long-term survival. We are evidence of evolution's greatest failure, an experiment that went wrong, a species that became too clever for its own good. We developed the capacity to understand the universe, but not the wisdom to live sustainably within it. We built technologies that could destroy us. We created values that conflict with our evolutionary imperatives. We are mismatched to the world we inhabit and the future we face. Will we survive? Unknown. If we do, it will be despite intelligence, not because of it. We must use the intelligence that created our problems to solve those problems. We must overcome our cognitive biases. We must develop wisdom alongside knowledge. We must learn to think long-term and act cooperatively on a global scale. This is not what evolution prepared us for. Evolution prepared us for life in small tribes, not planetary stewardship. The future is uncertain, but the past is clear. Intelligence was an accident, a rare occurrence that might never happen again in the universe. And when you examine the costs, the risks, the psychological burden, the ecological destruction, it becomes obvious that intelligence was evolution's mistake. We should never have happened, and we might not last long enough to matter. Consider what Earth would be like without intelligence. Ecosystems in balance, no mass extinction beyond natural background rates, no climate change beyond geological processes, no nuclear weapons, no existential risks from technology. Life would continue as it had for billions of years. Evolution would proceed. Complexity would arise and fall, but the planet would not face the systematic destruction that intelligence has wrought. Intelligence is a high-risk, high-reward strategy. The reward? Understanding, technology, culture. The risk? Extinction. We are in the process of determining whether the reward was worth the risk. The evidence so far is not encouraging. We have had intelligence for a geological instant and already face multiple existential threats of our own creation. Perhaps intelligence is a great filter. Most life never evolves it. Most species that do evolve it destroy themselves. The universe is full of planets where life arose, evolved for billions of years, and never produced technological intelligence, or where intelligence arose briefly and vanished. We might be witnessing our own species passing through the filter right now. Will we emerge on the other side, or will we join the countless extinct species that evolution tried and discarded? The lesson is humbling. Intelligence does not make us special. It does not ensure our survival. It does not give us cosmic significance. It is a trait like any other, subject to selection, capable of being maladaptive, and the evidence suggests it is profoundly maladaptive. Intelligence was evolution's mistake, and we are living with the consequences.